Hello and welcome to Value Chain TV News Update. I am Kabir Lawal with the news. And on the Value Chain TV News Update, we start with insecurity. Against the backdrop of resurgence of mass abduction of school children, the federal government has said schools in 14 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are at risk of attacks by bandits and insurgents. The National Coordinator of Financing Schools in Nigeria, Ajia Halima Ilia, confirmed to media men that the data of at-risk schools had been collected for intervention. In a similar vein, a lecturer with the Federal University of Technology, Minna, James Adajo, in an interview with Value Chain TV on the state of insecurity, especially on our schools, noted that the need for government to take child education in the country is important.
My heart goes out to the families and the people around those villages whose wards were actually kidnapped, and we are with them in prayer that very, very soon that this schools pupils will regain their freedom. But that is actually most unfortunate. It shouldn't have happened at all. Incidentally, if you go by what we are saying, those children were actually in school when they came to kidnap them. But some other students, some other children, or some other youths who probably never had the opportunity of going to school now came to disturb these ones. That is what happens. That if you feel that it's only my kids or your kids alone that can go to school, the kids of those who didn't go to school, the other kids of other persons who didn't go to school will come and disturb ours tomorrow. For long, they actually warned us that there is something that is about to snowball, that's a ticking time bomb. But we never saw it coming. The need for education. Education is key. When you see in most advanced climes abroad, you see the issue of child education taken very seriously. That in most countries, education of a child from primary to secondary school is free. So no excuses whatsoever. Government spends so much in making sure that this thing is free. But at the long run, they gain it because the society is going to be free.
He explained that the communication gap within the local government and the federal government is one of the main reasons for the continuous rise in the spate of kidnapping in the country.
Local government, for whatever reason, is one major gap that has actually been revealed by all that is happening. Local government, before now we talk about traditional rulers, look at who is closest to the person. The ordinary councillor is the closest person, legislator to the grassroots. From there to local government chairman, local government to state. The state government is in the capital. If anything happens, you now have to move to the local government. Then the havoc must have been wreaked. But at this point, the local government is very, very critical. If we never saw it before, I think we are saying it now. They need to be empowered. That structure that said local government and state government will collaborate and maybe the accounts will be joint and governor has, it's not working. Because for now, we'll have been holding some persons responsible. Not the governor that is in the capital, Kaduna, and the local government where this happened is many, many hundreds of kilometers away. He cannot act. So there's need to revisit the local government system and probably give them some level of autonomy so that they can be able to perform.
And on the budget issue, the presidency has denied allegations of padding the 2024 budget by an additional 3 trillion naira. In a statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Information Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the presidency described Ningi's claims as false. It noted that the presidency had initially presented 27.7 trillion naira budget to the National Assembly on November 29, 2023. Onanuga said the budget included 9.92 trillion naira for current expenditure, 8.25 trillion naira for debt service, and 8.7 trillion naira for capital expenditure, contrary to Ningi's claims. The presidency emphasized that it was impossible for Senate to have debated and passed a 25 trillion naira budget that was never presented. The clarification by the presidency followed accusations by Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi Central that the executive is implementing a budget other than the one approved on January 1st, 2024. And in the meantime, the federal government has threatened to sanction civil servants for leaking official memos and documents classified as sensitive to the public. Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemi Eson, in a recent memo, said the leakages of such documents have become embarrassing to the government and as such become unacceptable. Moving now to petrol supply. The Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria, MEMAN, has said that the uncertainty of forex market has stopped members from importing premium motor spirit PMS known as petrol. The association disclosed this during a media forum over the weekend. MEMAN noted that the country's petroleum products distribution and supply chain may face more challenging complexities going by the current foreign exchange market intricacies. The executive secretary of the association, Clement Isong, while stressing the challenge, said their investment is not fully protected with dollarization of certain charges. Isong said though the federal government has been faithful in the intervention process since the petroleum subsidy removal, yet the dollarization policy is weakening the industry and discouraging investment. And in agriculture, President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated an agro-processing zone, agricultural equipment, and remodeled Minna International Airport. This was revealed by the State Governor Muhammad Bago while inspecting projects over the weekend. Governor Bago said that about 2,000 hectares will be utilized for the agro-processing zone project. Meanwhile, the federal government has renamed the Minna Airport in Niger State after President Bola Tinubu hours to the inauguration of the airport. The airport had earlier been named after the late Abubakar Imam by the federal government, when 15 airports in the country were named after some prominent personalities in Nigeria. Moving now to economy. The Comptroller General of Customs, Mr. Adewale Adeniyi, has said all consultations are ongoing in the reopening of borders, as only President Bola Tinubu has the prerogative to reopen borders in the country. He stated this at an interactive session with members of Konglam border community in Mai-Adua local government area of Katsina State. Adeniyi, who was reacting to agitation for the reopening of borders, assured that the engagement and consultations were being made regarding the issue. The customs boss added that the service will focus on removing obstacles militating against free trade in line with the present administration's agenda of fostering economic prosperity. Moving now to health issues, the federal government has directed health workers seeking jobs abroad to resign their appointments before leaving the country. This was disclosed by the Minister of State for Health, Tunji Alausa, during his visit to the Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Aro, Abeokuta, in Ogun State. The minister stated that the era of health workers leaving the country after applying for a leave of absence is no longer acceptable. The minister also noted that the federal government had commenced the review of the manpower in the health sector, such that the annual enrollment of nurses, which used to be 28,000, is now 68,000, and by the end of this year, it will have gone up to 120,000. And that ends the Value Chain TV News Update. I am Kabir Lawal. Thanks for watching.